Welcome to next session of Java program. It is related to errors and exceptions. These two words are used interchangeably in our daily life for just making the changes or making some wrong messages and all. Errors, we'll see the difference between these errors and exceptions and how these are handled in our uh, in Java programming. Firstly, we'll discuss with the errors. Errors are the wrongs that can make a program wrong. Whatever we are writing in the program, that will be checked by the compiler, but that will be checked according to the syntax. It is not checking the logical errors and all. So if we are writing the program in the wrong way, then the program may produce or may produce the wrong output. That means error may produce an incorrect output. It may terminate the execution of the program abruptly. It may cause the system to crash. We don't want all these things. Whenever we are developing any software, the main objective of our software or of our program is that we should get the clear and simplified output with no ambiguity and with no time delay. These errors are very much important as far as the programming is concerned. An error is caused due to lack of system resources. This may be one of the reasons. Errors in Java are of type java.lang.error. All the errors in Java are unchecked types. These are not checked during the entire execution. Errors happen at runtime. They will not be known to the compiler. It is impossible to recover from the errors. For example, suppose if we are handling some variables and we are doing some manipulations on the variables. Suppose if I am dividing b to the variable a. I don't know the value of b if it is tending towards 0. If it is 0, then a divided by b will be the indefinite output, and that's why it is 0 divide by 0 error. So if such type of error is occurring during the execution, then the output may not be available, and this type of errors are impossible to recover by the compiler. And that's why errors are mostly caused by the environment in which application is running. For example, java.lang.stack overflow error, java.lang.output out of memory error. Then the types of errors. Types of errors are compile time errors and runtime errors. Compile time errors are those all the syntax errors. That means if the programmer is not following the syntax, suppose if variable I is not declared and it is used in the for loop, then the compiler will give the error. And unless and until we are clearing these errors, unless and until we are eliminating these errors, compilation process will not be continued. Then runtime errors. These are the errors which are due to the wrong logic. As discussed earlier, suppose if the variable b is equal to 0 and the programmer is unaware of this type of value, then a divided by b will be the wrong logic or will give the errors. So such type of errors are there. Now these are the errors which are done by the programmer intentionally or unintentionally. Now we'll see the exceptions. Exception can be anything which interrupts the normal flow of the program. So it is somewhat like errors, but we can handle the exceptions. Exception can occur at runtime known as runtime exceptions as well as at the compile time known as compile time exceptions. Now, exception is caused because of your code. Whatever the code written by the programmer, it is having some logical flaw or logical error, that is known as exception. Exceptions in Java are of type java.lang.exception. Exceptions include both checked as well as unchecked types. Checked exceptions are known to the compiler, whereas unchecked exceptions are not known to the compiler because they occur at runtime. I'll repeat. Checked exceptions are known to the compiler, whereas unchecked exceptions are not known to the compiler because they occur at runtime. You can recover from the exceptions by handling them through try-catch blocks. We will discuss that again. Exceptions are mainly caused by the application itself. Examples of exceptions are checked exceptions like SQL exception, IO exception, then unchecked exceptions, array index out of bound exception, cast exception, null pointer exceptions of this. Now we'll see the difference between the errors and exceptions. Errors indicates error indicates serious problem and abnormal conditions that most applications should not try to handle. For example, memory error, hardware error, JVM error, etc. Exceptions are conditions within the code. A developer can handle such conditions and take necessary corrective actions. Few examples: divide by zero exception, null pointer exception, arithmetic exceptions, then array index out of bounds exception and all. Then we'll discuss with the types of exceptions. Java exceptions are classified into two types. One is built-in exceptions and the another classification is user-defined exceptions. So Java can handle the exception which is already available, as well as we can handle, or the programmer can handle its own exceptions. So built-in exceptions examples are arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, class not found exception, file not found exception, etc. These exceptions are the exceptions which are available in Java libraries. These are suitable to explain certain errors. Arithmetic exception is thrown when an exception condition has occurred in an arithmetic operation. For example, a divided by 0, variable a divided by 0. Array index out of bound exception. It is thrown to indicate that an array has been accessed with an illegal index. The index is either negative or greater than or equal to the size of the array. We will discuss the example afterwards. Class not found exception. This exception is raised when we try to access a class whose definition is not found. Then file not found exception. This exception is raised when a file is not accessible or does not open. Exception handling mechanism is to provide a means to detect and report an exceptional circumstances. Now for handling the exceptions, we have to perform different 4 tasks. Firstly, we have to find the problem. That means hit the exception. Find the problem, hit the exception is the first task. Second task is inform that an error has occurred. Throw the exception. Throwing the exception means inform the error has occurred. Then catch the exception. That means receive the error information from the program. Then nextly and most importantly is take corrective action. Take corrective action, that means handle the exception. Now we'll see this with the example. So in syntax, now exception handling is done with a try-catch block in Java. So here it is a syntax for a try-catch statement. Try. It is a keyword, and the statements that may cause an exception we will write all these statements in this try block. Then we will catch them with the exception. Now here we'll write the try block and then we'll write the catch block, where in the catch block we will write the exception. What are the exceptions? Suppose if it is a built-in type exception, we'll write the name of that exception or the class of that exception with the object. So here we'll catch that statement, we'll catch that exception with the name of the exception and with the object, and then whatever the error we are handling, that error message or that error elimination process we will write in the catch block. So try block is never executed. Once an exception is thrown, program control transfers out of try block into the catch block. A try and its catch statement form a single unit. We cannot use only a try statement or we cannot use only a catch statement. It is the associated terms. These are the associated terms. So whenever there is a try, there should be at least a single catch. We can use the multiple catch statements also with only a single try statement. The scope of catch clause is restricted to those statements specified by immediately preceding try statement. Now, this is one example. Here ex1, this class is created. In this this is a main method class in which we are writing or we are just handling the two variables a and d. As discussed earlier, we'll make d is equal to 0, okay, and a is equal to some value divided by d. So we'll write this inside the try block because we want to check it. This is not the already available thing, so we will check it. So d is equal to 0 and a is equal to 12 by d, and system.out.println, here we'll write I'll write not printed. So it will try for doing this. So try, after that here the catch statement is there. So catch arithmetic exception e. Now here I know that whenever I'm dividing any value with 0, it is the arithmetic exception. So here I'll catch the arithmetic exception which is available in java.lang.error package. So here I'll use that and then system.out.println divide by 0 error, because it is the divide by 0 error. You should not divide any variable with 0. So after this catch statement, we'll write the simple statement, that is after catch statement. Now the output of this will be divide by 0 error, which is available in the catch statement. And after the catch statement, now this statement system.out.println statement is available in the main method, so that will be executed by default. So after catch statement is the output. So here we are trying for creating the exception and we are handling it. So here we are not terminating the execution of our program. So like this we can handle the exceptions. So next one is another one. We can move with this as either we can make it as 0 or we can just do it as a 0 and all. So here we can in the same way we can write this. So here arithmetic exception demo, we can't use the name of the exceptions as it is for the class and all. So now we'll see for the multiple catch statement. In the earlier example we have seen only try and one catch. Now we can use the multiple catch statements with the one try. So here in this example we'll try for different exceptions. Here I'll define, or I have declared one array with the maximum size as 5, and in try I have declared this in try block of the main method. So here I am trying to print the element which is available at the 10th position, 10th location of the array A. Here I have declared the array with the maximum size as 5, and here I am printing it. Here I am trying to print the value which is available at the 10th location, which is the exception. So now when this main method will be executed, here this statement will be there, and then now here there are different situations. Catch statements are there. The first catch statement is related to arithmetic exception. Now here I am trying to print the element which is not in existence. So this catch statement will not be executed. Then it will move towards the control will be shifted to the next catch statement. It will check whether array index out of bound exception is there or not. Now see here, the array limit is 5 and I am printing the element which is other than 5. So this catch statement will be executed. So this catch statement will be executed. That means the output of this code will be array index out of bound exception occurs. And then this catch statement will not be executed because here it is not, this exception is not raised. And since this statement, the system.out.rest of the code is the statement which is available in the main method, that will be executed as it is. So the output of this earlier program will be array index out of bound exception occurs and rest of the code. Now here suppose if I am trying to divide any element of this array by 0, then here I have to add the another one array which is here this catch statement will be executed. So likewise we can handle the multiple catch statements also. Now we'll see what are the advantages of these exception handlings. So exception handling allows us to control the normal flow of the program. It throws an exception wherever a calling method encounters an error, providing that the calling method takes care of that error. So though there is an error, we are able to handle it. We are able to give the message accordingly messages to the programmer or to the user, and we are not going to terminate, we are not going to abort the execution of our program. So it throws, then it also gives us the scope of organizing and differentiating between error types using separate block of codes. Now as we have discussed earlier, there are exceptions which are checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. We will see one by one. All the exceptions other than runtime exceptions are the checked exceptions. That means we are going to check it before the compilation. Okay. So that may be related to the syntax and all. So compiler checks them during the compilation to see whether the programmer has handled them or not. If these exceptions are not handled or declared in the program, it will give compilation error. So checked exceptions will give the compilation error, whereas unchecked exceptions, these are the runtime exceptions. They are also known, these are runtime exceptions. The compiler do not check whether the programmer has handled them or not. It's a duty of the programmer to handle these exceptions and provide a safe exit. Program should not go in indefinite loop. These exceptions need not be included in any method's throw list because the compiler does not check to see if a method handles or throws these exceptions. Thank you.